All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get our program underway. Go ahead and find your seats right now. I know it's hard to wrap up those conversations. The longer you're away from your sport, the better the stories get, don't they? Welcome to the 2022 University of Colorado Athletic Department Hall of Fame induction ceremony tonight. Look at that group. Yeah. Look at that group behind me right here. Look at those photos. They're young. Their entire life is ahead of them. Most of them still had hair back then. That's a good-looking group, isn't it? We've got a proud history here at the University of Colorado in our athletic department, and I know it's a difficult decision when the group gets together to vote on Hall of Famers because there's so much to choose from. So when you make the cut, you know you've done something special. And it's great to have you all back here on a homecoming weekend. We got a little football on Saturday. How do you feel about that? Arizona State coming to town. Mike Sanford and company are going to lead the Buffaloes out there against the Sun Devils. And then on Sunday, by the way, Tad Boyle, who's here tonight, we're going to get our first look at his basketball team. I know it's just an exhibition, but he still gets to go out there and for the first time in public get to play the Nebraska Cornhuskers. That's always a little bit of fun, isn't it? So we got that going on at 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon at the Event Center as you're in town. My name is Mark Johnson, the voice of the Buffs, and it's my honor tonight to serve as your MC. And off the top here, we got a few folks I'd like to recognize and welcome to the event. Some of our VIPs tonight. First is our athletic director, Rick George, and his wife, Nancy, right down in front here. Our deputy athletic director, Jason DePape, and his wife, Kristen, here tonight. Jason, thank you. Associate Athletic Director and the Hall of Fame Executive Director. And we got some news about DP a short time ago. He's going into semi-retirement. The great David Plowdy sitting over here, ladies and gentlemen. University of Colorado Boulder Chief Operating Officer. He's a big part of what we do here at Colorado. Pat O'Rourke is here. Pat, thank you. Want to welcome Steve Hatchell, a 2017 Hall of Fame inductee and the president and CEO of the National Football Foundation. Great to see you, Steve. And speaking of folks who have been instrumental in our athletic department, former athletic director and the head coach of the ski team, the 2006 Hall of Fame inductee, Bill Marolt, and his wife, Connie, are here tonight as well. Also, we'd like to acknowledge CU's Athletic Department Senior Associate ADs Corey Hilliard, Chris Livingston, and Ryan Gottlieb are here tonight as well. Thank you, folks. I mentioned him a moment ago. He's about ready to start his 13th season. He's the head basketball coach here at the University of Colorado. Head coach Tad Boyle and his wife Ann, right down in front. Tad? Head ski coach Andy Leroy is here tonight. Boy, it was good to see that white stuff today, Coach. Snow was falling. Also, Lindsay and Casey Malone, coaches representing our track and field teams as well. Good to see the Malones. Mark Wetmore and his group are out at the cross-country Pac-12 championships in Los Angeles. They get things underway tomorrow. Interim head football coach Mike Sanford and his wife Anne Marie are here today. Mike. And a 2019 Hall of Famer, Jana Weinberger, head Nordic ski coach, and her husband Dan are here today as well. A couple of others real quick. We talk about the ski team. My buddy and legendary coach, Richie Rokos, is here tonight as well. And then legendary coach, he's a Hall of Famer. He's my broadcast partner now. Gary Barnett and his wife Mary are here tonight as well. And Gary, earlier this week, by the way, was inducted into the Colorado Springs Sports Hall of Fame down there in the Springs. So I'd like to say, yeah, congratulations to Gary. Outstanding. I'd like to say to Gary, or I say about Gary now, he's in so many halls of fame. The only one that's left, I think, is the Future Farmers of America. That's the only one he hasn't been inducted in yet. Well, that's still coming. I'd like to, at this point in time, invite the co-president of our Student Athlete Advisory Committee to the stage, Savannah Perry from the CU Women's Volleyball Team. Savannah, come on up.
Thank you. Currently, there are 478 student athletes at the University of Colorado, and on this prestigious evening, I am honored to be here tonight as their representative as we celebrate the achievements of our Hall of Fame inductees. I'm Savannah Perry, a senior on the women's volleyball team and the co-president of our Student Athlete Advisory Committee, or as we like to call it, SAC. SAC is the voice for student athletes on and off the field, promoting inclusivity and advocacy within our athletic department. We host a variety of community outreach events to give back to our fans and the Boulder community, including our Buff Hugs program with the Colorado Children's Hospital, Read with the Buffs, and our Holiday Angel Tree. SAC also plans social events throughout the year, like our Welcome Back picnic and the Cuspies, to enhance the student-athlete experience. On a larger scale, SAC contributes to legislative changes at the university, conference, and national level. For example, I'm a part of the Pac-12 student-athlete leadership team, where we create legislation and present issues affecting student-athletes to the Pac-12 Council. This has provided me with the opportunity to work closely with Rick George and Jill Keegan, giving me an appreciation for their hard work on behalf of our athletes at CU. Chancellor DeStefano attended our most recent SAC meeting, giving our student-athlete representatives an understanding of his work to continuously support our athletes. Along with being the SAC president, I am also the great-granddaughter of 2008 CU Hall of Fame inductee Dal Ward. Though I never met him, I feel like I knew him because his legacy lives through his family, his football players, CU alumni, and one of his daughters, my grandmother, who's my guest tonight, Barbara, and also a CU Buff. Along with winning the Orange Bowl and bringing CU into the Big Eight, my great-grandfather stressed the importance of academics to his football players and led by example, treating everyone with dignity and respect. I am thankful to have had the opportunity to play volleyball at CU and have been inspired by my great-grandfather's legacy to work hard on and off the court. On behalf of all CU student athletes, I want to congratulate our Hall of Fame inductees on this honor and thank you for your contributions you have made to the University of Colorado on the field, mat, track, and slope. As a family member of a fellow Hall of Fame inductee, I hope all of the inductees cherish this night and know what this honor means to your families. They are so proud. Your legacy is a lasting impact, a gift that passes down and is treasured through generations. Congratulations.
Savannah, thank you very much. Next to the podium, let's welcome the Executive Director of the Alumni C Club, Kimberly Orr. Kimberly, come on up.
Thank you, Mark. This is truly one of my favorite nights. It is such an honor to host all of you here tonight. The Alumni C Club is very proud of this event, and I would like to ask our board member volunteers to please stand and be acknowledged. There's a big light in my eyes, and I really can't see you, but I saw Barry stand, so thank you. I'd also like to ask all of our Hall of Fame inductees, our previous inductees, if you're a member of the Hall of Fame, would you please stand and be acknowledged by the room? There's a lot of you. Thank you so much for attending tonight. This is your forever home, and it is homecoming and fitting that we welcome you home to Boulder. I'd also like to say this event, I hope you'll keep it on your calendar as something precious that you'll attend every year, because our Hall of Fame inductees mean the world to Rick, to me, and to the entire department and all of our members. So please, keep nominating your teammates. Let's build this event to be something spectacular every year. Thank you for being here. Congratulations to all of our inductees. I have loved every phone call, every email, every text, every opportunity to get to know you and talk with you, and I'm so happy to meet your families tonight. Thank you for being here, and welcome home.
Kimberly, thank you. Our next gentleman bringing to the podium, you consider where college athletics is right now and what a tumultuous kind of environment it's in, and he's leading our athletic department successfully through all of it. Let's bring up the athletic director here at the University of Colorado, Rick George.
You know, we're all thankful for a lot of things, right? I'm thankful I didn't have to follow Savannah. That woman is amazing, and to come up here, I mean, you see me, I've got my notes right here, and she just talked to you from her heart, and what an amazing student athlete, but she represents our wonderful student athletes that we have here, and for those of you that have not been back to campus in a while, our student athletes are incredible. They do an amazing job, and she's a great representation of our student athletes. So, Savannah, you were awesome. I'm so glad I didn't follow you. Well done. Also want to thank everyone for being here tonight. Congratulations to our inductees. This is a very special class. We hold this every year, and there's incredible stories about this group. We have 3 big-time football players that are in this class. 2 of them I recruited. Charles Davis, I didn't recruit you. You're a little older than me, but we're glad you're in this class. Greg Beekert and Jay Leuenberg, 2 of our greats. We have 2 track and field stars, Jane Frederick and Yolanda Johnson, in this class. We have 2 incredible skiers, Jimmy Griffith and Maria Grevsgaard. 1 gymnast, Debbie Wilcox Mills. And one of our great administrators that worked on our campus and was one of my predecessors, Dick Tharp. And I think we all know that this is the 50th year of Title IX. And this is by far the biggest class we've had with women inductees, and something we're really proud of. So let's give it up for the females in this class. We also have 2 Hall of Honor inductees, 2 great buffs, Jim Hansen, Rhodes Scholar, and Dr. Eric McCarty, who's done surgery on half this room. You know, we decided to bring back the Hall of Honor this year for the first time since 1987. And this wing's to recognize buffs who have thrived in their career after CU. Both Jim Hansen and Dr. Eric McCarty were obvious choices to bring this back to life. And I'm very thankful to Dave Platty for making sure that we added this to this list this year. And this is something that will continue for years to come. Also new this year, we launched a new wing in our Hall of Fame. It's the Legacy Wing. And over the years, we've had so many people that are close to the athletic department in so many ways. Whether it was donors, fans, supporters, we wanted to recognize those individuals who made a lasting impression and contribution to CU athletics. And the voting for this inaugural members into this was a landslide. I think it was a unanimous choice that we honor Peggy Coppin and Betty Hoover, our twins. Where is she? There she is right there. Peggy Coppin, let's all give her a round of applause. And Betty, we miss you and we love you. She's awesome. I got to sit and give her this announcement in her home, Nancy and I did. And we had root beer floats that she made for all of us. And we had a great afternoon, and she was so surprised and shocked. And I'm like, why would you be surprised and shocked? You're 2 of the most iconic figures in CU athletic history. And we're so grateful that Peggy's here tonight representing Betty, and the 2 of them being in our Hall of Honor and our Legacy Wing is really special for us. And before we get this night started, I want to give a special thanks to Kimberly Orr. Reese, where's Reese? Reese is one of our track athletes. She's awesome. Reese Renz, and she's been very instrumental in this. This is going to be a great weekend. We're excited that you've all have been a part of this. We also know that this is going to be a great weekend. We've got the Stampede tomorrow night. We've got the game on Saturday. Congratulations to the class of 22. This is going to be a special night, and I look forward to hearing our recipients with their words and remarks tonight. So thank you all for being here. Go Buffs, and let's have a great night.
All right, Rick, thank you. None better than our athletic director, Rick George. All right, we've set the table. What do you say we start introducing the Hall of Famers tonight? What do you think? Huh? Well, that didn't seem very excited at all, for goodness sakes. You guys responded like I asked if you want a cup of coffee, for goodness sakes. How would you like to meet the 2022 Hall of Fame class? What do you say? There we go. There we go. All right, our first inductee tonight. He started out in the defensive line, but would move over to the offense prior to his sophomore season. It was a wise move, as he would earn first-team All-Big 8 and honorable mention All-America honors as a senior in 1992. In aerospace engineering major, he graduated with a 3.941 grade point average. Jim Hansen, I want to know what professor here gave you a B+ at any point in your college career. My goodness. Jim was a 3-time academic All-American and a 2-time CFA Scholar Athlete and the 1992 recipient of the William V. Campbell Award, which is considered the academic Heisman. Oh, but wait, it doesn't end there from an academic standpoint. He earned a Rhodes Scholarship, the 5th CU football player to do so, and Jim would earn his doctorate at Oxford. He returned to the States, where he'd become a professor at MIT, is now employed by the U.S. Naval Research Laboratory, where he leads several projects. He has truly done the University of Colorado proud in his post-collegiate endeavors. Please, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome now a Hall of Famer, Jim Hansen. Jim, good to see you. Congratulations. Yes, sir.
Thank you for that kind introduction. Oop. Which one of these am I using? This one here? I'll take this. Thank you. So, people who help us in our lives and influence us, we carry those people with us for the rest of our lives. And sometimes, you know the people who have been important to you, and you can appreciate them and thank them. And sometimes you don't realize the impact that they've had ever, or perhaps only in retrospect. And similarly, I think sometimes people who have helped you understand the impact that they have had. And other times they may have absolutely no idea of that impact. And I'm so thankful for this opportunity to thank the people out there that I've been able to bring in as guests and tell them how important they have been to me and the things that I've been able to achieve. So I'll start with my father, John, the original hero. He's been with me the whole way. And I still remember, the first one of these types of awards that I got, I think I was like 10 or 11, for the Highline Youth Recreation Association Hyrule Green basketball team. And I was as uncomfortable with it then as I am now with this award. And the advice my father gave me on the drive over, and I'm using that advice tonight, so thank you, Dad. My wife, Julie, who's sitting here, far more impressive and successful than I am, as far as I'm concerned. She's a constant source of inspiration, a constant source of support. She's, Batman to my Robin, to be sure, or Word Girl to my Captain Huggy Face, I think is probably more accurate. My daughter, Katie, she's a sophomore at Utah. She inspires me by the way she's figuring out who she is and what she's going to be, and it's fabulous to watch. And my son Jack at Oregon State. So we've got in our family, that's what, a quarter of the Pac-12 covered. So I'll be a third of the Pac-10 here in a couple of years. See, my college parents, Dave Clough and Steve Chapra, you're the primary reasons I came to see you, aside from the fabulous recruiting coordinator we had at the time. But you all, Dave and Steve, they're the reason I'm here. They supported me, they challenged me. They were instrumental in helping me learn about the Rhodes Scholarship and be successful in the application. And you all, you're my friends, and you continue to inspire and mentor me, so thank you. Brian Argro. So Brian showed up as a young professor of aerospace engineering when I think I was doing my master's, or it could be my senior year. And Brian, what you taught me, I won't bother you with the details, but the excitement of being able to take basic mathematics and basic mathematical theory and apply that to science and engineering problems, and that's been the model of the way that I've done science ever since. Leland Giovinelli. So Leland, she recently retired instructor, congratulations, in the HERPS program for engineering, ethics, and society. And she provided me with readings and habits of mind that helped me get the Rhodes and were instrumental in my interviews. And she still provides me readings, so thank you. And that's where I met my wife, in that class. Jay Alowski, Pasta Jay. Jay, I remember the first time you did training table and how excited you were and how fired up you were to be around the football team. And that excitement taught me to never take things for granted, take this situation for granted. Thank you. Joe Romig, the Joe Romig, thank you for bringing me into your life and mentoring me and helping me. And I love the conversations we had about life in Oxford and science in physics. Steve Hatch, who has already been introduced, thank you. Your generosity as part of the National Football Foundation, an organization that everybody should look up, does fabulous things for the game, and hosts a summit that, for me, fills my tank for the rest of the year. Okay, finally and most importantly, Clint Moles, Jason Perkins, Scott Starr, Roger Yago, Jack Keys. So these are my football brothers. And maybe not people that you all remember. I mean, Clint had this weird cult following. I never really understood that. And Jason played next to me for a while there. But, you know, I think it's the way, you know, the way they approach the game that's always been an inspiration to me, where it's more about the relationships and your teammates. It's about being part of something that's bigger than yourself. That's what college football is about, or should be about. That's what athletics is about. And that's what life's about. So thank you, gentlemen. I love you. I can't repay what you've given me, but I can try to be an inspiration for others so that they can carry that forward with them. Thank you very much.
Jim, congratulations. All right, our next inductee into the CU Athletics Hall of Honor is Eric McCarty, football 1983 to 1987. Now, Eric's got kind of an interesting story when you think about the time period in which he was heading over from Boulder High to CU. He had Buffs fans holding their breath back in February of 1983. But the top recruit in the state of Colorado did sign a few days after National Letter of Intent Signing Day, giving Bill McCartney his first of many national prep stars. I wonder why the indecision there, Doc. What was going on? He did the opposite of Jim Hansen, by the way, moving from fullback on offense to linebacker on defense, where he was a first-team All-Big 8 performer as a senior, when he was also a finalist for the Rhodes Scholarship. He earned his MD with honors from CU School of Medicine in 1993, did his internship and residency at Vanderbilt, where he was reunited with Rick George and CU assistant coach Jerry DiNardo, but was always had his eye on returning to his native Colorado, which he did after 1 year in New York City. He's now in his 19th year working with the athletic department and heading the sports medicine arena. He's operated on numerous CU athletes and a good many of the staff in his time here. And that's where you get most of your business from, isn't it? Athletic department. And most recently, as one of the team docs for the Colorado Avalanche, he hosted a dinner for the team's medical staff with, yes, the Stanley Cup. I'm sure we can hear many stories about him and the cup and what he did with it. Ladies and gentlemen, he's now a Hall of Famer, Dr. Eric McCarty.
Mark, thank you. And I want to congratulate all those that are being inducted tonight. And Jim Hansen, congratulations. What an honor to be inducted with you in this Hall of Honor. And sweet Peggy, we certainly love you, Peggy Copham, and your sister Betty. Love you. Well, we are here tonight for a reason, right? In fact, each of us getting honored tonight came to the University of Colorado for a reason. We each have a story and a path of what we did before CU, what we did while we're at CU, and what we did after we graduated. These paths are unique and woven together to make such a unique fabric that makes the greatness of the University of Colorado Athletic Department. My path is guided by my faith in Jesus, as it says in Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. So as I reflect upon this induction into the CU Hall of Honor, for which I am very humbly and deeply honored, I realize it's not about me, but just as Jim Hansen said, it's about those who have helped me along this path. And I'd like to honor them as I share my story. My path to CU started as a kid growing up in Boulder. Our house was nestled on the hillside between Mackey Auditorium and Boulder Creek. And my earliest memories of CU were listening to the football games and the roar from the stadium that resonated all the way to the stadium to my house. And then seeing Charlie Davis in the early 70s and the Buffs literally run over other teams in the Big Eight. I attended Lincoln Elementary, which is now Naropa on Arapahoe Avenue. And our playground abutted the chain link fence of the practice fields. I would stand at the fence for hours and watch these huge guys in the black and gold practice. Saturdays in the fall for me and my family were all about CU football. And after the games, I would stand on that ramp and wait for a chin strap, wait for a wristband. Please, could I have one? I dreamed of the day that I would be playing football at Folsom Field. And little did I know that I would spend almost a lifetime Saturday afternoons in the fall at Folsom. As it became time for college, the allure of USC and Michigan and Stanford were really enticing. Yet it was through the efforts of Bill McCartney and his staff that convinced me and Mac's first recruits to stay. In a story that has been told before, yet hopefully not forgotten, is how Coach Mac told in-state recruits from Colorado not to commit until you came to visit CU. And what was really unique about that was he asked us to come to the last weekend in February before the signing date, which you can't do nowadays because everybody commits so early. But we all came together. It was something that we can never forget, because what happened as we came together, we forged a friendship, and we made a pact to bring CU football back to prominence. And we're so thankful to Mac for that opportunity. And that class of 1983 includes many of the guys that are here. And I want to just recognize those guys: Lance Carl, Tom Gebhardt, Barry Helton, Kurt Koch, Joe McCrary, Sam Smith were able to make it tonight, but there was about 20 of us. So yeah, that was a big deal. So Mac had a unique way of touching each of us very individually, yet motivating us as a team to greatness. We endured that 1-10 season in 1984, and despite a 7-win season in 1985, we started off 1986 0-4. Yet we never wavered. Mac had us believing. We beat Missouri, then we beat Iowa State, and we were 2-4. Yet we were up against our biggest test, against the team that we had not beaten in 19 years, against the number 3 team in the country, the hated Red from Lincoln. So that victory that day was a turning point for Colorado football. And I want all those that were involved in that victory to stand up, please, because what a great day that was. So please, Remington, Smith, all you guys, whoever was there, that was a big deal. So it is these guys, and also the guys that came after me in '87, that were my teammates. And they made this portion of my path at CU so special. It was a unique bond, a time of going through adversity, through the fire, and then coming out on top. And it was a time that was so wonderful. Now, there's not mentioned before, but here tonight, Remington, Thistle, Quackenbush, Smith, Garton, Bowman, Yago, Leuenberg, and Smith. It was just such a great time. So I thank you guys. I thank you for being great teammates, and for such a unique relationship and great friendships. Also, other special people in the path at CU were the position coaches. Gary Barnett, you came in here from Fort Lewis. You were my running backs coach. And Lou Tepper as my linebackers coach. And then Bill Marolt, Dave Platty, Joe Romig, Dave Burton, Pasta J, and then later, Brian Cabral, Dick Tharp, Mark Johnson, Richard Rocco, such great friends, and countless number of others. So my senior year, the season didn't go our way. That's how the past goes sometime, right? We were 7-4 my senior year, and we did not go to a bowl game in 1987. And I was very disappointed, having gone to bowl games the past 2 years. However, I did get invited to the Blue-Gray All-Star Game in Montgomery, Alabama. The first night there, I met this really cute, blonde, Southern gal with a funny accent. And as it turned out, this gal would later become my wife. I'm so thankful for how God made the good out of the disappointment of that season and put me on a path that I could never have imagined. I thank my dear wife, Miriam, for her enduring friendship, her eternal love, keeping me grounded, giving me balance. Her support has allowed me to pursue my career as a sports medicine physician, orthopedic surgeon, and academic professor. And we've been so blessed with 4 wonderful children that after her, these are the love of my life: Madeline, Cleveland, his wife Alex, Shannon, who couldn't make it, and Torrance. I'm so proud of you guys. Thank you. And just a few more thanks. My ability to provide excellent care to thousands of patients every year is because I got a great team that I work with. And those are here tonight. Jenny Reed, Ashley Chrisman, McKenna Peterson. Thank you, guys. And Rick George, man, you are the man. Thank you for all that you do. Man, we are so lucky at the University of Colorado to have you, so I appreciate you. Thank you. Yes. And Kimberly Orr, you work tirelessly. I know that because I talk to you often. You're like running everywhere. So thank you for putting this on and doing this for us. This is really special. We are lucky to have you as well. I have several siblings here tonight: Conrad, Chance, Somerset. And I want to thank them for being such great brothers. They've been great support and love throughout all the years, and thank you guys for being here. And I remember and thank my wonderful parents that have passed, Cleve and Jackie. They absolutely love the Buffs. They raise a family of Buffs and provide us with direction and love and drive for what we do today. And lastly, so thankful for my faith in Jesus Christ and the path that God has laid out for me. The way that path is connected with so many of you in here, it's been so great, and that path that we're sharing this evening is so wonderful. So thank you, CU. Thank everybody here. Go Buffs. God bless.
Doc, great job. Outstanding. Well, we've had 2 amazing inductees to the Hall of Honor. Now we're going to get to these folks right back here. Let's begin with the 2022 class for the Athletic Hall of Fame. Our first inductee, Greg Beekert, football 1989 to 1992. Greg lettered 4 years at inside linebacker under CU Hall of Fame coaches Bill McCartney and Brian Cabral. was a two-time All-Big Eight performer. CU's MVP is selected by his teammates for the 1992 season. Two-time recipient of CU's Dave Jones Award as the most outstanding defensive player. Was only the second player in school history at the time to lead the team 3 straight seasons in tackles and finished his career as CU's second all-time leading tackler with 441, a number that still ranks third some 30 years later. He was the first and to date only player in school history to score a defensive extra point as he rambled 85 yards for 2 points in a 1919 tie with Nebraska on a very cold November night in 1991. Remember that one? A 7th-round selection by the Oakland Raiders in the 1993 NFL Draft, the 181st overall pick. He played 9 seasons with the Raiders before moving on to Minnesota for 2 more before retiring after the 2003 season. He racked up over 1,100 tackles in 11 NFL seasons. Ladies and gentlemen, Hall of Famer Greg Biekert.
Thank you. Thank you very. Wait, is your microphone? Why does your voice sound so much better than mine? Is it the mic? Okay, just making sure. Thank you all. I just want to say this is a great experience for me. It's very humbling to be elected into the CU Hall of Fame, following so many great Buffs that have already gotten in, and to join these people behind me on the screen and in the audience here is just amazing to me. I never would have pictured myself in this position. And I really do, I think I'm gonna, this is a recurring theme. I think Jim, Eric both stated, it's all about the people that helped you get here. We can't do anything on our own. There's nothing really we can accomplish by ourselves. And, first off here at the University of Colorado, it comes down to me getting here was Coach McCartney. I mean, he was a huge factor in me coming here, knowing his faith, knowing the type of program he ran here. I remember sitting down with my dad and going through the pros and cons of everywhere I was getting recruited, and it just came back. There were too many pros, behind CU and not enough cons. So it was an easy decision for me, and I'm glad I came here. Coach Mack was a huge influence on me. In the way he really did drive you as a player and as a team. He had that knack of looking at you in a way that you knew, you could do better. He didn't have to say a whole lot. And guys really gravitated towards that. I think we really had a sense of family. I was here during the time when Sal passed away, and that whole experience, I think, really drew our team together for probably the next 4, 5, 6 years. I would say that those football teams were just very close. Coach Cabral, another Hall of Famer here. My position coach, the year he came in is when I moved from outside to inside linebacker, and I'm sure glad I did. I had a great coach, Bob Simmons, at outside, but I was sitting behind Canavis McGee and Alfred Williams. Probably not going to see the field. So Coach Cabral, I don't know if it was him or Coach Hankwitz, but came to me and said, hey, would you mind moving to inside? And I said, yeah, I'm all for it. If it's going to possibly get me on the field, and was able to start my sophomore year on and learned a lot from Coach Cabral. He was the best man at my wedding. It just really means a lot to me to have the relationship we have and the experiences we've had, and I appreciate all that. The other thing, people I want to really thank are my parents who are here tonight. They live, here in Berthoud. I grew up in Longmont. Really was a stretch for me to come to see you. I really had to leave home, and real brave. My older brother's here tonight with his family, his wife, and my niece. My 4 daughters, Sydney, Emily, Audrey, and our little one, Riley, our special little one, Riley, from a couple years. We've had her for 4 years now, and just a real blessing to our entire family. My in-laws are here in the back. My great friends, Joe Garton, Hall of Famer, John Bowman, future Hall of Famer, election committee. His wife, Giselle, and my wife's sister, Kristen, her husband, Russ, and my nephew, Cameron. I think that's my son-in-law, Sam, my Emily's boyfriend, Ben. I think that's about it. But last but not least, my wife, Shauna, for sticking through with me. You know, we started dating as sophomores in high school at Longmont High School, and through college. She was a CU grad. She came here a semester before I did. She says I followed her here, and she couldn't get rid of me. But and then all through playing after that, I really, in my professional career, playing for the Raiders and the Vikings, really took a lot of what I learned here at CU from not only the coaching staffs but other players, watching people play, seeing how they approach the game. Really was embedded in me in the way I looked at that career. It was a fun time, but I just want to say thank you, go Buffs, and I appreciate everything.
All right, we're going to stay with football. Our next inductee, Charlie Davis, 1971 to 73. Charlie is one of CU's super sophomores in the 1971 team that finished number 3 in the nation behind Nebraska and Oklahoma, all from the same conference. Here an honorable mention All-America honors that season, becoming just the second sophomore in CU history to earn any kind of All-America mention at the time. He was a second-team UPI All-American in 1972. His 1,386 yards in 1971 were the most in a single season by a Colorado player at the time, still stands 5th in the record books for a single year. He finished 16th in the Heisman Trophy voting that season, a rarity for a sophomore to finish that high in those days. He opened that season with a 174-yard, 2-touchdown effort in CU's 31-21 win over number 9 LSU, a school record for the most yards in a first game in a CU uniform that would stand for 49 years. Later that year, he decimated Oklahoma State's defense for 342 yards, which some 51 years later is still the all-time single-game record here at Colorado. Charlie finished his career as CU's all-time leading rusher with 2,958 yards, a number that still stands 6th today. He was drafted in the second round, 48th overall, by the Cincinnati Bengals in the 1974 NFL Draft. He played 3 seasons in the NFL before injuries and is in his professional career. Ladies and gentlemen, your newest Hall of Famer here at the University of Colorado, Charlie Davis.
Good evening, good evening. I'm going to be speaking on my uncle's behalf. First, I would like to give grace and all the glory to Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. We wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him. I truly mean we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. The people of Boulder know him as Charlie Davis. To me, it's my Uncle Bubba. Several years ago, he had several strokes where the family didn't know that he was going to make it. but we kept our faith, and our faith has led us to here. Also,
all of life.
I would like to tell him, I think it's a safe zone right now. Years ago, when you brought that 71 highlight football tape to the house, I took it. Statute of limitation has passed. I'm too old for a whooping. But I did take that tape as a little young boy. I took that tape because that 71 team was awesome. Like when I first watched that tape, the camaraderie and the players that they had on that team, I would watch that tape every week going into my games, just to try to emulate what they did on the field. I was so proud of my uncle, all the records he set, and how much he loved Boulder. From a small kid from West Columbia, Texas, that had 4,200 people, he let me believe that you can go out in life and visit beautiful places like Boulder. He was an inspiration to my life. He set records just watching the Buffs throughout the years. I remember the pride that I had in 1990 when Eric Henry broke one of his records, how they talked about it and how long it had lasted. And even to this day, he still has 342 yards in one game.
Oh, your boats, yeah.
His feet was hurting that night, I guess. But he still toted the rock for 32 plus carries, averaging 10 yards a carry. But I want to take this time from my family to the Boulder community, to the alumni, to the university, all the inductees tonight. We truly thank y'all for this honor. I want to thank the leaders that had their hand touched in this night and to make this night possible for me and my family. So, would y'all help me welcome my Uncle Bubba, Charlie Davis.
All I know right now, God, Jesus, and angels, and good angels, that's all I know. That's all I know.
Congratulations, Charlie. All right, our next inductee into the CU Athletic Hall of Fame. From track and field, 1970 to 1973, Jane Frederick. It's only fitting that in this 50th anniversary of Title IX, that two of our inductees tonight were world-class athletes before the NCAA began sponsoring women's championships in 1983. Jane attended Colorado at the time that just predated women's varsity program. She still made use of CU's athletic facilities to train en route to becoming a true pioneer in women's track and field. In late 1972, Jane played a significant role with four others who went to then athletic director Eddie Crowder to start a women's varsity track and field program here at Colorado. They won the 1973 AIAW National Championship in pentathlon, which made her CU's first female national champion in any sport. Yeah. Jane was a two-time Olympian in the pentathlon and the heptathlon. She was 21st in the pentathlon in the 1972 Summer Olympics in Munich, Germany, and 7th in the 1976 Games in Montreal, Canada. She won both the 72 and 76 U.S. Olympic trials, by the way. She set the U.S. pentathlon record on 5 occasions. After her athletic career, she became a track coach and assistant at the University of Texas, where the women won the NCAA championship in her first season in 1990. She coached 4 national champions, 8 All-Americans at Texas before moving on to coach at UC Santa Barbara. She's a member of the Nike Hall of Fame, the U.S. Track and Field Hall of Fame, and we are proud now to call her a CU Hall of Famer. Ladies and gentlemen, Jane Frederick.
I begin? I want to begin by acknowledging that my beloved family attended tonight. That is the legacy of my father, for whom really I entered athletics and aspired to become an Olympian in track and field, because he was denied the opportunity. He had gotten the Spanish flu in 1918, and his legs all black. When he tried to be a track athlete at Cal, he couldn't handle the training, but the blood clots and the trouble. But he was a fantastic athlete, and we all knew that because his younger brother went on, Cal, 8-man with coxswain to win the gold medal in Amsterdam 1928 Olympics. Yeah. So this love that my father had for track, he was an official. And I thought to myself when I found I had some talent in it, because at 11 I tied the national record for my age group in high jump, I thought, I want to do this for my father. And our legacy is at the table here. My 2 brothers, their wives, my niece, and my 2 great-nieces, 7.5 years old. And I am standing here with my heart so full to be able to give them a hook to hang their hats on that is our bloodline. So, of course, I have to thank University of Colorado for finally looking into the deep, dark corners of those of us who they did not see for a long time. But in the light that shines, and I want to say I think it's the light that shines from all of those young women who then went on in track for CU to excel. Yolanda, Emma Coburn, their light shines so bright that it reflected on me back 50 years ago, and suddenly all of CU saw me. And I can't thank you enough for being willing to look backwards in that way. It's the only thing. That one year that I was representing CU, I was hurt. I had already been an Olympian, and I gotta tell you, I had a football boyfriend, ex, that when I came home from being a student abroad, I was working out to be, for the Olympic trials. I saw him in the field house, which is the only place I could work out. Because you have to understand, when I arrived in '69, I went to the track thinking, oh, okay, I'll do track. And I found a coach that came and said, no, girls, get off. Ooh. So it was a hard time. And even my boyfriend, who was a very nice man, but young guy, looked at me when I was working out in the field house while the team was cooling down there on a snowy day and said, are you still doing that running thing? So it was tough. There were moments when I didn't have a place to belong. But I have to tell you, there's a man in the room right over there. Forgive me. When I was so young and I had no one to train with, I had a roommate in my dorm room who was a skier from New Hampshire. She said, hey, come train with us. It was a club team. My coach, let me ask him. Let me see if you can train with us. And the great Bill Marolt said yes. And you gotta figure, we had to pack our own slopes. We got fit, so all fall, all winter, I was allowed to have a place to belong, even though he knew and I knew come February I had to move over to track again. So thank you, Coach Marolt. I never forget you. And so beyond that, I could tell so many stories, but I just have to say to all of you as I look out at you that what has happened to me, because I just graduated, I only did the one track meet. It's the only thing I ever did for CU. It was a track meet at Hayward State that was, it turns out, the national championship for women's athletics, and, well, I won it. And so, right, it happened. Right. But I should also point out that I had to sacrifice something, because my dear brother John, with whom I had lived here, he's also a Buff, he had graduated a year ahead of me as magna cum laude. And I was like, oh, what? I can do something like that, because I was a 4.0. And so I graduated Italian, and I said, oh, can I do? He said, oh yeah, you could be summa cum. So I did everything asked, and took the tests, I did everything, but I had a thesis I had to write. And my advisor was a professor, and she wouldn't meet with me except on this particular weekend. But that was the weekend I had to go out to Hayward for that women's athletic national championship. And I made a choice. And when I came back, it was too late. I didn't do the thesis, pardon me. I didn't get any cum laude. But look I'm here now. And the choice I made about athletics, I think might have been right. Right. And for sure, academics and athletics has gotten together, and they're much better friends now. But I have to say, I cannot thank you enough for making me feel so welcome, so much a part of a family I didn't know I had, and want to come back. Coach Malone invited me to the track practice yesterday. I cannot begin to tell you how much it's wonderful to find a home. Thank you very much.
Jane, congratulations. All right, our next inductee from skiing, 2006 to 2009, Maria Krebsgaard. Maria Leonard 4 times from 06 to 09, was a member of CU's 2006 NCAA championship team. An 8-time All-American out of 8 possible honors, by the way. CU's first ever 8-timer in skiing. A 2-time individual NCAA champion, a 3-time RMISA individual champion. CU's Female Athlete of the Year for the 07-08 athletic year. And a Female Career Athletic Achievement Award winner in 08-09. She won 24 career races, 15 classic, 9 freestyle, the most by any skier, male or female, in CU's illustrious skiing history. Her 11 wins in Nordic action in 2008, 6 classical and 5 freestyle, make it out of 12 races, tied for the most in a single season in either skiing discipline as well. She had 8 career sweeps, wins in both classic and freestyle in the same competition, with her best sweep coming in the NCAA championship in 2008, when she became the 4th CU skier and 3rd women's Nordic skier to accomplish the double win. She returned to live now in her native Norway, where she now skis simply for fun, raising 2 little girls. Ladies and gentlemen, she's now a Hall of Famer, Maria Krebsgaard.
Thank you. This is really huge coming from Norway, getting to experience. It's really huge. Thank you. And one thing is for sure, the girl who landed at Denver Airport back in 2005 could never imagine herself standing here as a Hall of Fame member. I can still remember my first days in Boulder like it was yesterday. I was picked up by Bruce, the Nordic coach. We would pretty much go straight to practice. And I barely lasted half the workout. I was like punched out by the attitude. I was jet-lagged, I was homesick, and I was wondering, what am I doing here? I think Bruce was probably thinking just the same at that moment. But I was lucky. Bruce, Richie, and Dan, all the coaches, the team, and of course my roommate Becca, they would take me under their wings. They helped me adjust quickly, and I started loving every moment. So the plan for me was to stay for a year, just to try out how it was to ski in the States. But I think it was just after 2 months I would call back to my parents saying that I'm going to stay for 4 years. It's too great here. So my teammates became my best friends, my coaches, my mentors, and best support. Dalvort felt like home, and everyone at the athletic department was so supportive. And what I really loved about skiing in the States is the team spirit. When you ski back in Norway, it's such an individual sport, but in the States, it's all about the team. I was lucky to win both in the NCAAs as individual and as a team, and nothing beats winning as a team. The other day, I was down at the ski building when we used to train, and I saw this quote on the wall where I think sums it up pretty well. It says, "I alone can do it, but I cannot do it alone." I loved being part of the ski team, but it was also so great being part of the CU Buffs and the athletic department. For a Norwegian skier, it's quite exciting being able to study and train next to huge linebackers in Dalvort, or to run next to the fastest runners down at the field close to the ski building, and of course to all the other athletes in the other sports. There are way too many great memories from Dalvort. I met so many great people during my career in Boulder. There are so many people that deserve a thank you. And it's dangerous to bring up names, but I'm going to take someone anyways. So thank you, Bruce, Richie, Jana, and Dan for being the best coaches and also great friends. Thanks to all my friends and teammates. Thanks to everyone at the athletic department. Thanks for including me, supporting me, and thanks for being there through my ups and downs. I'm forever a proud Buffalo. Go Buffs.
Maria, congratulations. Our next inductee, we're going to stay with skiing. From 1947 to 1951, the great Jimmy Griffith. Considered CU's first star in skiing, he was on the U.S. national team, who was named to the Olympic squad for the 1952 Games. However, he was killed in a training run in Utah 2 months before the Olympics. In line at the time to become the school's second Olympian behind David Bolin in track for 1948, the London Summer Games. He had actually qualified for the Olympic trials in 1948, but an eye injury kept him from competing. He skied from 1947 through 1951 for the Buffaloes. Then athletic director Harry Carlson took note of his abilities, proclaiming, quote, "James Elbert Griffith was one of the 10 finest athletes ever to attend the University of Colorado." In the first collegiate national championships in 1950, he was second in the slalom, CU's first podium finish in the national championship meet, which began 4 years earlier. He was the 1950 U.S. downhill champion and went on to ski in the 1950 World Championships in Aspen, the first held outside of Europe. He was headed for a bronze medal in the downhill, but crashed 50 feet above the finish line. It would have been the first medal by an American skier on the world stage. Team captain and co-coach, how about that, as a senior in 1951. He was inducted into the U.S. National Ski Hall of Fame in 1971, and back in the day elected the King of Campus in 1949 at the CU Winter Carnival. That's a title you want to have, don't you think? The King of Campus. All right, now I think that's Tad Boyle, actually, now that I think about it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome skiing head coach Andy Leroy accepting on behalf of Jimmy Griffith. Coach.
Thank you, Mark. You know, it's an honor to be standing in front of you today and to accept this honor, or accept this award on behalf of Jimmy Griffith. I want to congratulate all of the other inductees tonight. Your stories are amazing. They're inspirational. They just show us how special your impact was at this university. So congratulations to all of you and your families that were able to attend. I want to thank our hosts for the evening. Having put on our ski ball only a few weeks ago, Kimberly and your staff, you spend such an incredible amount of time to have things come off perfect. And I think this is exactly it. You nailed it just like the ski ball. I want to thank the selection committee. You guys have spent so much time and your dedication to identifying people like Jimmy Griffith. It really is rewarding to think that you are spending the time and bringing us together for an event like this, so thank you for that. And on to Jimmy. His impact on the ski team is really tough to put into words. He was the first. He was the first superstar. He was the first champion. He was the first inspiration of what our program could become. And when you look back at the path that he has forged, the 13 individuals, skiers that have been inducted into this Hall of Fame, 5 of which are here tonight: Bill Marolt, Bruce Gamble, Richard Rokos, Jana Weinberger, and Maria Grevsgaard, and of course the 1959 team that was inducted. It really is something special to think that Jimmy was at the start of all of this, despite having his life cut so short and only 22 years of age. I said at the beginning, it's an honor to stand here and to accept this on behalf of Jimmy. But I gotta say, Jimmy, wherever you are, yeah, I'm taking the team to Loveland on Saturday to go training, so hopefully I can continue what it is you started. Thank you again for all you've done.
Thank you, Coach. All right, time to move on to track and field. 1987 to 1991, Yolanda Johnson. Yolanda, affectionately known as Yo-Yo, she was the Colorado Sportswoman of the Year and the Colorado Sports Hall of Fame Amateur Athlete of the Year for 1986, when she was also the National High School Woman Athlete of the Year. One of the first premier female high school track recruits in the state of Colorado history. CU coach and late Jerry Quiller signed her to a letter of intent in the spring of 1986 when she was named the Gatorade National Track Athlete of the Year. A 3-time first-team All-American, twice in the 100-meter hurdles, once in the 55-meter hurdles, the latter of which she remains CU's record holder some 32 years. Her name to this day still appears in many top 10 performances in school history. How spectacular was her 1986 season? Well, Colorado Governor Dick Lamb proclaimed June 25th as Yolanda Johnson Day. How about that? I think that kind of surpasses King of Campus right there, don't you think? When you get the whole state. After graduating from CU in 1992, she served as an assistant track coach under Quiller and then Mark Wetmore from 1992 through 1999, training sprinters, hurdlers, relay team, middle distance athletes. One of her pupils was CU Hall of Famer Yvonne Scott, an Olympian in the 100-meter hurdles. Her athletes played a huge part in CU winning its first Big 8 Conference Outdoor Track and Field Championship, coming in the league's last year of existence in 1996. She is currently an assistant track coach at Michigan State University, joining the Spartans program in the fall of 2016. Right now, she's a Buffalo Hall of Famer. Ladies and gentlemen, Yolanda Johnson.
Good evening. So I just want to know who found that video of me and kept rolling the reels over and over again. I'm gonna get you, okay? First and foremost, I would like to start off by just giving God all the praise and the glory for him. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here right now, and for that I am truly grateful. I'm honored to be sharing the stage with all the 2022 inductees. I would like to take a moment to thank everyone on the committee for making me a part of this prestigious group of individuals. I also like to say congratulations to the inductees. There is a quote that says, "A good coach can change the game. A great coach can change your life." I've been fortunate enough to have more than a few great coaches in my career, and Quiller was one of them. At the end of my high school career, I was still undecided about college. I visited several colleges with exceptional coaches, but wasn't completely sold on the school. While trying to decide what college I should attend, I received a call from Quiller. He was asking me to come up to campus. He said he wanted to talk to me about what CU had to offer. I politely said, "Is it a Corvette?" And he said, "If that's what would get you here, then I will buy you that Corvette." I do want to mention that I never got the Corvette, so if there's anybody in here that is from compliance, I never got the car. Okay? When my mother and I arrived at campus, I was greeted by Coach Quiller and Theo Gregory. They talked to me about the changes taking place at the university and the goals that they had for the track team. Coach said adding me to the roster could bring change to the track and field program. Walking away from that meeting, I had a feeling I had never experienced with the other teams that I had visited. So I committed. After I graduated from college, I was unsure of my career path, and Quiller sat me down, and he wanted to discuss me becoming a track coach. At the time, I had no desire to be a track coach. I mean, it was so far from being a track coach. I never wanted to deal with somebody like myself. And so, but he convinced me otherwise, and so I tried it. For that, I want to say thank you to Coach Quiller. Thank you for seeing the potential in me as an athlete. You are the reason why I coach track and field today. I would also like to thank my high school coach, Tony Wells, who is deceased. You were a coach that was ahead of your time and was able to turn unexperienced athletes like myself into remarkable individuals. Your coaching went deeper than creating the best. You made us family, instilled courage, confidence, and purpose in all the athletes you came in contact with. You challenged us to be the best in every aspect of our life. We can't thank you enough for all your sacrifices that you've made for us. Your teaching gave me a work ethic that I still carry with me today. Your presence has molded me into the woman I am today, and for that I say thank you. I would also like to pay homage to Bob Smith, who is the founder of Colorado Flyers Track and Field. I appreciate you always being there when I needed you and believing in supporting me in my dreams. You were a beacon of light to those who thought they were hopeless, and we thank you. You and the Colorado Flyers are a large part of my success, and I wouldn't be Colorado's best high school track and field athlete without the team. Thank you for all you do and you continue to do. I would like to acknowledge my parents, to my mom who's deceased and my father who is present at my table. I watched you work 3 jobs to provide a better job for me and my siblings. You taught me the meaning of hard work, perseverance, and accountability through the words and actions. And that is something I've carried throughout my life. Dad, you and Mom have sacrificed a lot, you and Mom have sacrificed a lot so we can have the life that you never did. Your love and support have always gone above and beyond anything that we can ever imagine. Thank you for everything you've done and making me the person who I am today. To my family, this was the hard one. As I was writing this, I started to cry, so it's just a very small snippet of how I feel about my family. Thank you for allowing me to be a mom over 100 kids and a work wife to a half a dozen people, and understanding the long nights, weekly travel, and being on the phone when it was family time. Even on the days I was frustrated, I wanted to give up, you reassured me that everything would be okay. You stood in the background and you have allowed me to shine. You have sacrificed many hours of your time with me so that I can share my gift with others. I can go on and on talking about you, but I'm running out of time. Lastly, I know I said a countless number of thank yous on this speech, but words can't describe the gratitude that I received for this award. The honor is not the only recognition of the hard work, but the power of my village had to get me to this point. I want to read that again. The honor is not the recognition of my hard work, but the power my village had to get me to that career. I had a lot of people get me to this place. I did not name them all in this speech today, but I just wanted to thank them all for sowing into me, for raising me, for doing everything that you've done for me. I do want to give you a thanks before I close. Once again, I thank you for inducting me into the Hall of Fame, and congratulations to all the inductees. We earned it. Thank you.
Congratulations, Yolanda. All right, our next inductee, we're going to football. From 1988 to 1991, Jay Lewinberg. A 3-year starter in Letterman at center, 89 to 91, under then head coach Bill McCartney. The fourth Buffalo at the time to earn unanimous first-team All-America honors, doing so as a senior in 1991. A 2-time first-team All-Big 8 selection as a junior and a senior, the first Buff center to ever be honored twice with All-League honors. He was one of a handful of people who knew it was the 5th down at Missouri in 1990, he claims. The story has it Bill McCartney said, "Jay, you're wrong, shut up." But I'm not sure if that's true. That's just legend. What's that? It was close? Yeah. Maybe added a word or two there. One of a few offensive linemen selected as the Collegiate Athlete of the Year by the Colorado Sports Hall of Fame, rewarded for his senior season in 1991. He's also been an inspiration, and he's talked a lot about this nationally. To many, as he's been a type 1 diabetic since the 8th grade. He was an 9th-round pick by the Kansas City Chiefs in the 1992 NFL Draft, 244th overall. Jay would play in 137 career NFL games for 4 teams. He returned to Colorado after his retirement from pro football, spending a couple of years as the color analyst along with Larry Zimmer for KOA Radio on the broadcast. He's currently a 3rd-grade teacher at the Colorado Academy in Denver and an assistant coach at Arapahoe High School. And now he can add to his resume, Hall of Famer, ladies and gentlemen, Jay Lewinberg. By the way, check out the shoes he's wearing tonight, will you? Check out those shoes.
My daughter got them for me. She's right over there. So I'm going to echo a lot of thanks from what I've heard from a lot of people tonight, but I've got a lot of pride being a Buff, a lot of pride and a lot of help from a lot of people in my football life, but I want to start with what I'm so proud of now is my family. And I know for a fact that I wouldn't be here tonight if it wasn't by their support, and I couldn't have done it alone. And so I have my mom and my dad here who have always been by my side. I've got 3 of my 4 daughters here, and I've got my brother and his wife here. So they have been instrumental in making sure that I can get to this stage of my life, and I cannot thank them enough. My oldest daughter, a CU Buff grad, just passed the bar, and so congratulations. I've got my second daughter here, who isn't a Buff, but that's okay, is working in construction and a civil engineer in Reno, Nevada. And then I've got twins that are freshmen in college. One is also a Buff, and she's here, Logan. And the leader of our family, and the one that holds us all together, that I owe everything to, and truly has saved my life. I love you very much, my wife, Karen. So, to the football kind of analogy is, she's the Darian Hagan of my family. That she's the one that gets all the credit and all the awards and all the honors, and deserving. But I couldn't have done this, and I wouldn't get any of this credit if I don't think about the teammates that I've had and the coaches that I had that have helped me, that you just go through the list of my teammates already in the Hall of Fame. I see Joe Garton here. Congrats. I can't imagine being the new lineman, this young kid that, well, he works hard, but he's like this really tiny kid that you had Mark Vanderpool, you had Joe Garton, then you had me, and then you had Mark Vanderpool, and then you had Darren Muhlenberg. And those guys were huge and old and mean. And I was the new kid. I remember that there was a Sports Illustrated article about how big we were, and they're like, damn, why couldn't you be bigger? And they were huge, but they also showed the way. But then we had Sal, who's been mentioned, and then this new kid, Darian, that comes in, who's just phenomenal. We had Eric Bieniemy, we had Michael Pritchard, we had an amazing offense, but then you look on the defensive side, and half of them are in the Hall of Fame also. That when the offense didn't show up, then clearly our defense did. Having to go against Chad Brown, Greg Biekert, Joel Steed, Alfred Canavis. And that's not even talking about those fast guys in the backfield that, God, if I ever had to go try to get them, they were amazing. In our coaching staff, that one of my favorite stories was well after I was retired, that Gary Barnett, in recruiting me, he was recruiting the kid that I was playing against in a high school playoff game. And a lot of people don't know this, but I missed 6 games my senior year of my high school because I got an infection in my foot. So I only played 7 games my senior year of high school. And so, I don't know, Rick, but Gary takes the credit. Maybe you had a little something to do with it, but took a chance on me because I finally got to play in the playoffs, and I played really well against this other guy who actually ended up playing in the pros and going to Missouri and was a great player, but I had a great game. And Gary came back here, and the story, as I understand it, said, yeah, that guy that I was out there recruiting is pretty good, but the guy that he was playing against is really good too. And that's how I got on the board here, that how I got an opportunity. And so I'm thankful. Things just happen for a reason. And the story on the 5th down is that I came over and I said, Mac, we can't do that. And he said, listen, I'm the coach and I coach, and you're the player and you play. This is what we're doing. I can't ever imagine Mac ever saying shut up to anybody. I mean, that's just not in his character. But just thinking about all the crazy things, but all the amazing things that I was able to be a part of here. The tie to start the season, the 11-0, and then being so devastated to lose that Orange Bowl, coming back and, like I said, starting with a tie, a loss, and then a 5th down. To think that we could have, as a team, not fallen apart, stayed together through the leadership of our team, and we just grinded it out. And we knew that we were a great team. And as I mentioned, who wins 10-9 on a blocked extra point? All of those things had to happen at the right time, and through the right leadership and the right chemistry. That I completely echo the comments about how Sal brought this team together. And through tragedy, we were able to become young men. That was the first time I'd ever experienced anything about death close to me. And it was a really, really scary time, but it was also humbling and made you realize that there's a lot more than just football in your life. And so that helped mold us as men and has carried through my entire life. And I owe that to the coaching staff, I owe that to my teammates, and I owe that to the university. And so I have a very special place in my heart for the university and for everyone that's associated with it. And I'm always welcome, and I love this place. And I'll keep coming back to this place as long as you guys will keep having me. Coach Sanford, We want to get back to greatness, and we expect it. So we're going to be tough, but we know that we can do it. Rick, I appreciate your leadership, and I know that you want that as much as anybody in this room. And know that every alum, every player, that's all we want. And we're here to support you, and we really appreciate, and I appreciate this honor and being recognized. So thank you very much.
Congratulations, Jay. Our next inductee from administration, 1996 to 2004, Dick Tharp. Dick, yeah. Dick was the 5th full-time athletic director at CU when he replaced Bill Marolt in 1996. He had a long association with athletics prior to taking over the reins of the department, as after earning his Juris Doctorate degree from CU in 1973, he became the school's assistant university counsel. During that time in legal, he was involved in a variety of athletic department issues, including NCAA relationships, investigations, coaches' contracts, policies, regulations in the athletic department, compliance with Title IX, and legal proceedings, including New England Patriots versus the University of Colorado when CU hired Chuck Fairbanks. You couldn't have lost that one, huh? He hired several head coaches, including the great Gary Barnett, who led the Buffaloes to our only Big 12 championship in 2001 and 4 Big 12 North titles. And one still on staff, women's golf coach Ann Kelly was a hire by Dick as well. In his years of involvement with CU Athletics, he negotiated, drafted, executed contracts for numerous head coaches, most notably Barnett, Bill McCartney, Sealberry, Ricardo Patton, and Coach Marolt as well. Developed the first real long-range plan for the department, Athletics 2010, which was a blueprint for success, accountability, and facility growth, and were incorporated into later 3- and 5-year plans. He also oversaw the construction of in 2003 of the East Side Club and Suites for Folsom Field, the first major addition to the stadium since 1968. He was the impetus in creating CU's unique Living Legends program, honoring letter winners 50 years after their first letter. And the reason we are here tonight, because back in 1997, Dick got together with a few staff members, including our own David Flatty, to create the CU Athletic Hall of Fame. And tonight, we get to induct him into the Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, Dick Tharp.
You know, it's difficult when you create the Hall of Fame, so 25 years later you can be inducted into it. What I want to say, I would say one more thing. When I interviewed Mark as to whether he should be hired by KOA to be the voice of the Buffaloes, he didn't wear a black hat. He didn't have near as deep a dark voice. And so I want you to know he's come a long ways as well during all of these years. What's important to me, and I'm the administrator category. I can't possibly match the accomplishments of the people that have gone before me, although I tried. But what's really special is the creation of the Hall of Fame, the creation of programs like the Living Legends, the Hall of Honor, the Legacy. You have to understand there are two purposes to that. One is for us to do what we're doing tonight, and that is to recognize the people, the wonderful accomplishments, the successes, the support, and how people live their memory and how they were associated with the university as part of that, and the feeling they have in terms of their tie to the institution. But there's a second part to it, and that is to create an institutional memory. The university needs to adopt, remember, and understand what it does in order to provide success to people and to provide the opportunities for success. Because when you create an institutional memory, just like all of our memories, you create an experience base and a learning base that you can embrace and learn how to forward progress, success, and actually perform your mission of an institution in terms of what you're doing for young people. So, if I had my druthers, I'd make every administrator, every new leader take a course in institutional memory and institutional history. And what they would do is they would learn how to embrace the stories we heard tonight, to embrace and understand what creates the mission of an institution, how it delivers in people like we've met and talked to tonight. And if they were to do that, there would be no policies and programs created based upon the latest fad of the day. You wouldn't have change for change's sake or to change something because you felt it made you look different. You would make decisions upon what builds the fabric of what an institution is supposed to do. So that's not, I'm done pontificating, but that's just how I sort of feel about it, you know? The memories in this room, the heartfelt feelings, what everybody expresses in their own way is really what it's all about. And what I've loved about my affiliation with the university for these many years. And so with that said, I am not about to let off the hook the creators of my memories. And I'm very fortunate because they're such good friends. Almost all of them are here tonight. They are the heart and soul of my memories. You know, memories are sort of the fabric of your life. You have the good ones, you have some tough ones, but essentially memories form the experiences by which you then can make decisions going forward. How do you learn about life? How do you go forward? How do you make decisions? And it's all a function of your memories. And everybody has their own, each individual's memories are part of their life. Well, I've got my whole crew here tonight, and I'm not about to let them sit in the back of the room and hide out. So I'm going to start with my boys. Travis, Taylor, Tucker, my three sons, incredibly accomplished, raised by a very special woman, and they don't have an arrogant bone in their body. I'm very proud of them. Their mother would be very proud of them. So, I try to make sure, as an old basketball player, I'm looking at the shot clock and I'm going, geez, I could have gotten off 50 shots during that period of time. Back. To Renee, my companion, partner, best friend, and somebody who has supported me and kept a smile on my face for the last 6.5 years. And for anybody that knows her, believe me, she's capable of creating a memory a day. So, sweetie, you're the best. I appreciate that. Okay, and then on, you guys are going to have to make this. I'm going through the clock. Denny and Tama Mullen. Denny and I have been friends for 50 years. We've shared friendships, we've shared memories. We have lost loved ones together. We've lost very close friends at the same time. We have figured out how to move on, have new friends, and to share new memories. I'm so happy they agreed to come here tonight. Denny and Tama Mullen. There you go, guys. And of course, sitting next to them are those ne'er-do-wells, Bill Marolt and Connie Marolt. Now, Bill has created and has accomplished stuff that's already embedded in the memory of the University of Colorado. And, we began as a young ski coach, an elementary teacher, a young couple in Boulder 50 years ago. We've come a long way since then. There are a lot of memories. I'm not about to use up my time sharing them, but I want to tell you the one thing that always sticks with me is, to the chagrin of Connie and all of her guests at any get-together, was Bill and I huddled in a corner discussing the issues of the day. And they were always led by Bill's mantra, which was, I don't care about what the problem is, I want to figure out how to fix it. That's what made Bill Marolt a great leader. How do you fix your problems? Get rid of the BS in the back and go forward. Somewhere back there are Mary and Gary Barnett. He's got so many awards these days, I can't keep track of him hardly. Mary and Gary, again, young, confident coach, an art teacher, friends, back when we were just trying to figure out how do you create memories. But they've been my best friends, and guys, we've been through a lot together for these many years, and I've appreciated your support, appreciated your friendship. Mary's friendship during some difficult times and her support is just so special to me, and I want to recognize that. I also want to recognize one of my great memories in life is a phone call I got sitting at my desk telling me that at the overlook at US 36, looking into Boulder, Mary and Gary were back with a smile on their face. It's very special. So to those friends, I love it. John and Linda Meadows are all hiding over there in the corner, okay? If you're a Buffalo and you want to have a friend, you need John Meadows on your side. My senior associate AD, there's nobody that reveres the history of Buffaloes or protects his friends and is always there if you call him. John, Linda Lou, you're the best. Bruce and Becky Gamble, I got them over there. Okay, Bruce made me cry at his Hall of Fame speech. It was special. They've been friends, our kids have been raised together. I love them to death, but if you want to understand the true heart of a Colorado Buffalo, you need to spend time with Bruce Gamble. Dan and Sue Hendrick are over there. Now Dan, I saw in his badge tonight that he's got a baseball and a football badge. I don't think anybody in this room remembers Dan Hendrick playing football. But that's sort of a private joke, amongst us. But Dan's talent and contributed to my memories and my memory base is his incredible sense of humor. And he can do it cynically, he can do it critically, he can just come up with it random. But always has the ability, in whatever situation you're in, to put into perspective what is going on with his sense of humor. And that is a wonderful, incredible talent to have. And you hear it in some of the speeches tonight. You get a little bit of this, a little bit of that. The sense of humor that keeps in perspective where you are, what you're doing, is so important to life and to the creation and holding on to your memories. And last but not least, got Bob Bowers and Lisa Van Gore Bowers over there. Now, Bob and I have been friends for 50 years. So what I want to say about Bob is he has spent 50 years trying to get me to create a memory of what a great athlete he was. Okay, now you got to understand, Bob was a great athlete, but I wasn't here at that time. But he has tried hard as we've kept our friendship. The memory I do have is that Lisa's the first female athlete I inducted into the Hall of Fame at the University of Colorado. So they're the best. Those are my friends. Those are my life. Those are the source of my memories. And to all of you, I'm just so proud of you and just so happy and honored to be included with you. Tonight, the University of Colorado has given me one more memory. Tonight. Thank you.
Dick, congratulations. Hey, Dick, we're going to have you come over here and get your photo taken. Yeah, we got a nice trophy for you. We've got one more inductee into the Hall of Fame and then our special presentation as well. But our final Hall of Fame inductee, gymnastics, 1978 to 1980, Debbie Wilcox Mills. As a 13-year-old, her interest in gymnastics was spurred on by Olga Korbitz's performance in the 1972 Munich Olympics. In her first major competition, she placed third in the all-around in the junior division of the AAU Nationals, the start of a truly amazing amateur career. She won the 1974 U.S. title in the all-around, garnering her instant fame, and then medaled twice in the 1975 Pan American Games in Mexico City. A year later, as a 16-year-old high school junior in the 1976 Summer Games in Montreal, she played a major role in upgrading her international gymnastics image by finishing 10 places higher than any previous U.S. gymnast in Olympic competition. She enrolled at Colorado as a freshman in the fall of 1978, but the then Lady Buffs fledgling program was a team comprised mostly of walk-ons, but CU had its star. She was the 1979 Big 8 champion in the all-around after finishing first in the vault, second in the uneven bars and floor exercise, and third in the balance beam. She led CU to a 13-2 record and a second-place finish in the conference meet, 1 point behind rival Nebraska. Debbie was completing a banner freshman year until the AIAW Regionals, where she tore ligaments and dislocated her right knee while finishing her final trick in the all-around competition. She still wanted to compete a near undefeated season. CU coach Dan Garcia was convinced she would have been the national champion had she not been injured. She had 2 surgeries on the knee, wound up redshirting the 1980 season, but never competed again after the sport. Along with 6 others were eliminated due to budget cuts on June 11th of 1980. But she remained at CU, graduated in 1983 with degrees in accounting and information systems, going on to work for years in computer software. A true pioneer in athletics here at the University of Colorado, now a Hall of Famer, Debbie Wilcox Mills.
Wow, that's up there. I am so grateful and honored to be inducted into the CU Athletic Hall of Fame. It is extremely exciting to be joining an amazing group of people. I really enjoyed my years at CU. My gymnastics coaches, Ron Crescentini and Dan Garcia, were the best. They not only helped me be a better gymnast, they made me a much better person. The athletic trainers at CU were top of the top. They had to put me back together many times. And many thanks to Andy Pruitt. He worked miracles on getting me back into competition form, as well as many other athletes that he got back into competition form. My teammates on both the men's and women's gymnastics team were special. We had many great times together. We did some crazy, fun things that I will never forget in my lifetime and will not share with the group. I am still in touch today with many of my teammates, and they still are special as ever. The education, discipline, and mentoring that I received at CU has helped with my career and life. I am very thankful for all that CU has done for me. And a special thank you for this brilliant event that Kimberly and her team has put together. Thank you.
Debbie, congratulations. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is kind of a neat deal here tonight. A new element in tonight's program, the debut of the CU Legacy Wing. What a phenomenal idea the Rick George administration here in the athletic department have come up with. The Legacy Wing has been added to the hall. This will be for individuals who have made a lasting impression or contribution for, to, or around CU athletics during their lifetimes. They do not have to be former student athletes, honorary CU members, or even CU graduates. And anybody who has ever been around the Twins has got a great story. And we love them so much, of course, here at Colorado. I'll tell you this, I'm in my 19th season as the voice of the Buffs, and I think it was about year number 2 or so. One day I'm walking off the court after a basketball game, and we'd had some nasty weather, and Betty and Peggy stopped me, and they made me promise, because I live up in the mountains, they said, if the weather's ever bad, we don't want you driving on the roads. We want you to come and sleep on our couch. I still haven't taken them up on that, so Peggy, just if the weather gets bad this season, I may take you up on that. But they have been such an enormous part of what we are here at the University of Colorado. Estimated to have attended over 3,000 games and matches across several sports, the inaugural inductees for this wing are none other than CU superfans Peggy Compton and the late Betty Hoover. You know them, you love them. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Sally Mark, representing her mother, Betty Hoover, and our beloved Peggy Compton.
We need a step stool for you.
I'll stand on my tiptoes.
Hold on 1 second.
Well, how did this happen?
Hey, Peggy, can we turn this one on? Peggy, we're going to have you step out behind the podium because we can't see you.
Okay.
All right?
Over here.
So you come on out here. I will stand here and hold on to you. Yes, ma'am.
Take my hand.
All right, take your hand. All right.
I need studying. How did this happen? Betty and I, after the first time we ever heard the term, here are the CU twins, looked at each other and for many, many times through the years have said to each other, how did this happen? I still don't have an answer to that. Before Betty died, she turned to me one day and said, we've sure had a lot of fun, haven't we? Yes, lots and lots of fun, cheering for all the many CU teams, meeting the coaches, the players, and their families, and meeting all the staff, the attendant, the cheerleaders, the band, and the the Ralphie handlers, everybody. I might forget somebody. But we've enjoyed, and a lot of the students, we've met a lot of students. And especially really, really nice people like the Georges, the DeStefanos, Mark here, and special coaches like Tad Boyle. For Betty and I both have children and grandchildren are CU graduates, and they'll carry on this legacy for us. In fact, my son Jack was a CU baseball player and top hitter in the Big 8 in the 1960s. We go back quite a ways. I want to thank and get with my deepest gratitude and humility, thank all the committee and everyone who's been involved for this. You don't know what an impact on my life it's made me very happy. And you know what? I can't think of one person or anybody that's ever been given an award like this for having a good time. Thank you all very much. And I just can't say thanks enough and how happy you've made me. And I know Betty is, and I talk to her every day. By the way, she's keeping in touch with me. You'd be surprised. Anyway, God's blessing to all of you, and thank you very much.
I promised myself I wouldn't cry. I'm Sally Hoover Mark. I'm Betty's daughter. And so I'm here to accept the award for her. And I did bring my notes. Like others have said tonight, I want to thank the other inductees who so well deserve this award. I want to thank the entire Hall of Fame committee, including Dave Platty, Scott McMichael, Rick George, and Kimberly for this humbling and wonderful honor for my mom. My family is 4 generations of Colorado graduates from CU. We live, breathe, and bleed black and gold. Peggy says, "How did this happen?" I know how it happened. They both would be so surprised, actually shocked at this honor. And they would never have expected it. They would always be thinking, isn't there someone else that's more deserving? But not in the way that they are deserving. It happened because of their love of CU, the entire school. Their wholehearted, true, genuine support and loyalty to all the teams, including attending track, volleyball, soccer, tennis, men's and women's basketball games, and football. They've cheered for the Ralphie handlers. They cheered for the cheerleaders. They've cheered for the band. And they've cheered for the dance teams. It happened because they've never, ever left a game early. And that's sort of been forced on the rest of us too. But they always said those members of the teams have to stay to the end, win or lose. And we are staying here with them until they leave. They've never turned down pictures. Oh my gosh. At the basketball games, there's no reason to watch the halftime performance because there's a steady stream of people coming to meet the twins, have pictures, talk to them. Friends, strangers, students, previous athletes. It's just absolutely mind-boggling. But that's the twins. Both of them actually are very knowledgeable about all these teams and their sports and the rules and boy, they're out there. That should have been a holding, you know. So they know their games. They know the rules. They love the coaches, the athletes, and their families, like Peggy said. This happened because of their love of sports, but more importantly, their love of people and supporting them, all which is rooted in devotion to the Lord and their faith in God's commandment to love one another as He loves us. It's all about relationships and caring for these student athletes who often are away from home. They have no family here, and they need people to love and support them unconditionally, win or lose. Finally, even though my mom is in heaven, I'm certain she's watching, shaking her gold pom-poms, singing the See You Fight song. So I think we should sing along with her now.
Yes. Let's bring her.
I'll bring her
Yeah,
over.
we'll go around.
We'll
Yeah.
go around.
You got it, Rick?
Yeah, I got it.
Well, that was just awesome, wasn't it? Got an award for having a good time. Peggy, we love you. Thank you for everything you've done for this athletic department all these years. And there must have been something in the air conditioning because all of us got dust in our eyes. I think we were all crying a little bit. It's obviously what it was. So what do you think? Pretty good night? How about one more collective round of applause for all the Hall of Famers tonight, will you please?